The Sonic movie is happening, the designs are in, probably, and this looks blood content. What's happening, my block buddies? Welcome to a brand new episode of Block Content. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. Well, it is a special day in a lot of ways. This is really strange, okay? So we're going to talk about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. This is really weird for a lot of people that are very invested in this film. There is happening this Sonic the Hedgehog feature film coming to cinemas very, very soon. There actually was a big uproar about this last year when we saw like first kind of designs and like this very shadowy look of the Sonic character, and now through sort of a leak, well, this is actually, if this ends up being true, this is a pretty big leak. People got their hands on what is the design for Sonic. Now, there are a lot of things to say before we dive into this, because first of all, if you don't want to get spoiled on this look, then don't look ahead. I would imagine that you'd want to know how this looks, so that the video is for you. For other people, this design does not show the 3D model in the movie itself, so this is not the CG, the final CG in the movie at all. This is just artist rendering of what the design is, and then probably the design that, you know, for Avengers films and stuff like that, they will like paintbrush or like Photoshop paint these characters for like on lunch boxes and, you know, different toys and stuff like that. And I believe that this is kind of what that is. So let's dive into Sonic the Hedgehog's design, and it all comes from this image, the film style guide. And the film style guides, they're mostly for internal use. Well, this is definitely for internal use, kind of showing the brand personality, the character, kind of how they use the graphics along with the character. So, you know, how box arts would look for toys and stuff like that. Well, yeah, this is, I'm just gonna say it. Sonic's design is not that bad. I say that with a question mark at the end. I feel, okay, so here's what I think is good about the design, okay? Number one, I feel like it has Sonic's silhouette, right? I feel like if you saw this as like a silhouetted figure, or maybe even from the back, yeah, that unmistakably would be Sonic, right? I also like that the spines have this sort of like hedgehog feel to them, right? They did that in that Sonic fan movie that a lot of people liked, a lot of people hated, and they're doing it with this design too. So Sonic looks a little bit furry, but not all that much, and I feel like that's a good design choice. I like the ears. I like the, well, I think my high points are kind of ending there. I think there are some really strange choices that I'm going to talk about. I think there is some dissonance between, I think, what maybe Sega would want and what, you know, Paramount would want themselves. So here's where the design kind of falls apart, right? Sonic is not wearing any gloves in the design. It's very clear from this artwork, at least, that those are not gloves, that is like white fur or white, you know, kind of fur kind of skin, which is totally weird. You know, it wouldn't make sense for this creature to wear shoes, but it would not be weird if it also wore gloves, you know, if it also wears shoes. Maybe for grip or something, for doing parkour stuff, you know, there could be an explanation, but just having his hands be these weird, like, very tiny hands with these long fingers and very scary, and this just off color that doesn't really match with the rest of the design, pretty strange. The second thing that I think is unforgivable is this thing where I feel like this has gone through so many designs, and it feels like this choice has, you know, gotten the middle ground, and that's the eyes. Now, if you look at the eyes, you know, a lot of people know Sonic has this classic visor kind of look, right? That almost the eyes are one part, you know, that they kind of are together, almost like a visor of a helmet. They tried to kind of replicate this with the 3D model, or with the model that they use in the film, but they added some sort of white fur below, or some white hairs, to make it kind of look like it has that visor look to it, which I think is just the worst choice that they could have made with this, because there's two things you can do. You can either do the eyes like a normal kind of creature would look. And again, the pupils are gigantic. It wouldn't look like that with a normal creature anyway. And classic Sonic didn't even have eyes this big, which is very weird. So that's choice number one. You could have just made them separate eyes and made the overall design of the character a lot more creaturey. That way it would look a lot more animalistic. You could go a whole different route with it, maybe even change up the colors, and then it becomes like a different kind of creature. And then people would also be saying, it doesn't look like Sonic at all, but that way it would be like, that's the design choice. Now it feels the other way that they could have gone. It kind of feels like they went a little bit too scared with the design, right? Sega probably got back to them and said, yeah, that's not really Sonic's design. He needs the visors. And they couldn't really find a way to realistically make the visor happen. And that's why they chose to be a little bit in between, so that you have the white part in the middle of the eyes to kind of act like connective tissue, if you will, between the two eyes. And that just looks all the more weird to me. This kind of looks like they couldn't make up their minds. The one part of the team wanted this, the movie team, and then the part of Sega really wanted to have the visor look, and they just couldn't agree on it, and that's what it looks like now. Another part that I think is not all that bad is that they did keep a lot of the classic Sonic design elements. The tail is largely intact. I feel like the stomach, the discoloration is great. And then, of course, we get to the blue arms, which is something that a lot of fans have been vocal about. The blue arms have definitely always been a talking point with Sonic designs. If you just go back at like Sonic Boom, for example, so many people hated that design just because of the blue arms, and I feel like that also goes away from what Sonic's design is, even to a mainstream audience. The blue arms would kind of detract from that, I feel, so that's kind of strange. I also feel like the shoes and the legs are a really strange choice. They went with like, oh, this guy has been running all this time, so we'll give him muscular kind of legs, which, you know, makes sense from a realistic perspective if we weren't talking about a talking hedgehog who is very large, blue, and has a voice like this. So it doesn't really match all that much. The shoes are, I wish they could have stuck a little bit more to a classic design. Maybe there's some sort of sponsorship involved. They couldn't get soap, which would have been really awesome. One thing that I am very excited about, however, I've been following this film for a little while now, and this design document doesn't do it all that good. A lot of people want to know what the final design looks like in the film, and I can't blame them. That's what a lot of people are going to sign up for with this film. However, there's two very big things that I'm looking forward to, maybe three. Number one for me is definitely that Ben Schwartz is doing the voice of Sonic, who is a great actor, an awesome voice actor as well, and has a great sense of humor and personality. I feel like he lends himself to this property and will probably elevate it a little bit. Things that probably another actor couldn't really deliver, Ben Schwartz, I think, can really sell. I'm definitely totally up for that guy's portrayal. I think he's a great actor. He's really funny. I've seen him in a ton of movies. He's been great in Parks and Rec, and I can't imagine him doing anything too cringy with this character, because he kind of knows what he's in for. And that brings me to my next positive point, which I also think is going to knock it out of the park, in which way ever. If it's going to be really campy or just great in general. Jim Carrey has been slated to play Robotnik or Dr. Eggman in this film. He's gotten a lot of flack for it, but I feel like this could definitely be his Hank Azaria playing the Smurfs villain character, Gargamel. I feel like this could just be down his alley. I know Jim Carrey doesn't really scream Dr. Robotnik or Eggman, but I think he's a great actor. He's a great dramatic actor. He's a great comedy actor, of course. So if he goes a really crazy awesome route with it, I think that will at least have a good laugh. And that's, what Jim Carrey is mostly known for. So I wouldn't, dismiss him just from that casting aspect. I don't think he'll look anything like Eggman or Robotnik that we're used to. Not at all. I think that design's going to stray so far from what we know, which might actually be a good thing. And I actually look forward to seeing Jim Carrey in the role, because it is a big A-lister in this Sonic movie. And, James Marsden, which would have been like my third, I think he's a good actor too. He could play the straight man very well. I feel like. So having him play opposite Sonic would probably be something that I'm up for. So there are a lot of things about the designs that I don't find all that appealing. As a Sonic fan, I would have loved to see something a little bit closer to Sonic's design in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I feel like he fit very well in a human setting there, a couple of things that are weird, him talking with the president or something like that, but definitely that kind of meshed, and I think that there was a way to incorporate Sonic into live action a little bit better than this, but I feel like it's getting tugged on from so many angles, that so many people get their little stamp on things, that it almost becomes like a lost in translation, and you'll end up with a design that's very close like the Smurfs in the Smurf movie. For me, it's not all about design. For me, it's also kind of about something that is a little bit more to film, and that's how the film will end up, the editing, the music. Maybe it's got a great orchestral score, the direction, maybe the shots are really beautiful and the actors, gel well with each other, and maybe just the general fact that the voice actors, the actors are doing a great job. There's so much more to be revealed from this film. We haven't even seen a teaser trailer yet, let alone a teaser, like a trailer, like a full trailer. So we don't know if Knuckles is in the thing or Tails or anything else, and what's happening. Is Mobius real in this world? So I'm really curious to see all that. These are my thoughts on the general design of Sonic, but I really want to know in the comments. I think you guys probably hate it, right? But just give it a chance is what I'm saying, because his mentality is like irreverent, sarcastic. He's heroic and adventurous. He's confident and competitive. He's just likable. He's not malicious. He is mischievous. So I think that this Sonic movie deserves a chance with audiences. I believe that everybody that watches blocked content is going to see the movie regardless if it's going to be like a train wreck or this awesome journey or something in between. I for sure will be there to watch, and I think that I'll just give it the benefit of the doubt at this point. I don't hate the design outright. I think that it does a couple of things really great. I think that it does a couple of things horribly wrong. And I feel like I just want to watch and see what happens with a first trailer. Then I'll really know, we've seen the Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer, now the full trailer, and things are looking fantastic on that front. So there is a template, there is a way to do things right with translating your anime or video game characters into a live action setting. So I'm curious if they take notes in the studio right now while editing and doing the CG for the movie. I certainly would if these two movies are being developed, next to each other. I think just, I'm along for the ride. Let's sprint to the finish line. So let me know down in the comments what you think of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, his design, and let me know down below what you think, and maybe you'll be featured in our next video. Remember, if you're not yet a member of Blocked Content, just hit the subscribe button. I talk about all kinds of stuff, and we do snake codec videos and animations. We even do live streams where we talk with our audience and have fun together. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you around the corner where there's always more weird-looking Sonic and more Blocked Content. See ya.